the Nate and Garrett Show, talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stoppin'. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. The Nate and Garrett Show.
And now, welcome to the Nate and Garrett Show. Prepare yourself to be transported to the furthest reaches of reality. As the hosts unravel the mysteries of the universe, the depths of the deep state, the truth hidden in plain sight, all while bringing you the news from this week. Please welcome your hosts, Nate and Garrett.
Hey then.
What's up, dude?
Hey, everybody. Well, Nate, happy eve of Virginia going red.
Yeah, man. How crazy.
It's just crazy that it's even a possibility. I was looking at some of the history of kind of like that race. And for a while there, the Republican was like plus 850. For people that don't know, meaning $100 bet on it makes you $850.
Yeah.
And now he's the favorite. I don't know what predicted as, but it was for a while there. It was like 60 cents on him and 40 cents for the most part.
I'll pull it up right here.
Yeah, God.
But yeah, the odds are wow, he's at 58 cents right now.
58 to 47. Look at that. Hit the 90-day for the heck of it. Look at where that started, and this look, the blue line you see along the bottom, that is the volume, basically. So the volume is just per day. It's just blowing up, too.
Right, the bar graph here.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's really funny to see
look at that
Democrats
flip, dude.
Trying to cope with this, too. Because for a while there, it was, if this is even close, it's terrible for the Democrats. If he doesn't win by at least 8, it's terrible for the Democrats.
Yeah.
Now, he's ahead. I mean, even uber liberal Nate Silver from 5 through 8 has him winning. Real Clear Politics average has him winning. Trafalgar Group came out with a poll today at +2. They do seem to lean a little bit Republican, so you'd like to see that a little bit more. But I also think that they give a Republican slant when the Republicans is more further behind.
When is the last time Virginia had a Republican governor?
20 years ago, probably.
20 years.
Yeah, I think it's been like 20 years since they've voted even red in a presidential election. So that's a 10-point swing from Biden, and that's if it's a tie. I mean, if the Fox News poll tried to say that the Republican might win by 6 points, I mean that would be what, a 16-point swing? So then theoretically, and there's a little bit difference here than the rest of the nation. That's what they're trying to beat on. But theoretically, you could take that election night map and take every state and correct it 10 points towards the Republicans. And that could be the next election if Biden doesn't turn stuff around, which I think they thought that Biden was going to be okay with after Afghanistan. Then they kind of thought like, well, Afghanistan's going to go away. It's not going to be in the news much. And he'll rebound, and he's not. His numbers are still falling.
Shit's getting worse because finally other problems are coming to fruition.
We're not even seeing all these chickens come home to roost yet either. We're starting to see.
No, we're seeing the beginning of the big problems.
Really.
Yeah.
And who knows what's going to happen when it really hits. Like, if they pass this Build Back Better and there's the unrealized capital gains, I can see the market taking a really big shit.
Oh, yeah.
really hurting it, you know?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But okay, let's say that tomorrow the governor Youngkin wins the governor of Virginia, okay?
Yep.
So Republicans flip Virginia tomorrow. I think that the Democrats and the Democrat Party will really start to panic. They'll go, "Oh my God, what is happening?"
You know what I think they're gonna do? They're gonna go the other way. It's almost like, God, what we do, guys? We called 50% of white voters racist. What do we do? I don't know. We need to, okay. How about we call 70% of them racist? And they called 70% of white people racist. Like, geez, I don't know. Maybe we call everybody racist.
Yeah.
Like, they keep going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear that the critical race theory is a big part of this.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, the critical race theory. You've been seeing this now, too, where everyone's trying to say, not everybody, everyone on the blue side's now trying to say, like, it doesn't even exist unless you're in a postgraduate law school. You're not tuned.
Oh, because they found out it wasn't popular. That's why
Exactly.
they're fucking pretending
But at the
it's
same
not
time,
real.
then, why are they freaking out and fighting so much when they're talking about banning it? If it doesn't exist, let it be banned then.
Right. Yeah.
The Democrats are really... We've got to make fun of corporations going woke, not understanding what was happening and misreading the atmosphere. It's almost like the blue party did that even worse. And you always see a lot of times Biden, they'll ask Biden or Jen Psaki, like, geez, this is pretty crazy. They say, well, we had 81 million people vote for us. It's the most ever. And they'll kind of use that. And Jen Psaki used to use the poll numbers. Like, well, 53% of people are approving what Biden does. So that's his mandate to do whatever. And they asked her, they said, well, hey, now his poll numbers aren't so good. Now how do you justify that? And of course, she's like, well, look, the country's in a rough time right now, thanks to Trump's handling of this. Yada.
Well, speaking of CRT, you see 2 more states joined in on leaving the national.
So which ones we got now?
New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Missouri, and I think there's like 2 more.
Awesome.
But that's not what I wanted to show. I wanted to show McAuliffe's last speech before the election tomorrow. Did you see what he said?
No. Let me guess. That's something to Trump, because he keeps saying that Trump is coming. That Trump's coming. And he basically sent out an email. Trump's coming.
He doesn't mention this. This is just a 38-second clip, but because we brought up CRT and stuff, let's watch this.
And I promise you, we've got to diversify our teacher base here in Virginia. 50% of the students in Virginia schools, K-12, 50% are students of color, and yet 80% of the teachers are white. We all know what we have to do in a school to make everybody feel comfortable in school. So let's diversify. So here's what I'm going to do. We'll be the first state in America. If you'll teach for 5 years here in Virginia in a high-demand area, that it be geographic or...
Yeah, we'll pay for the college. Hooray. But look at that shit.
To do with getting black teachers. He doesn't really...
But he means only for teachers of color, that they'll pay. They'll pay for teachers of color to come teach in Virginia.
Kind of what this started was, there's the first debate they did, and they kind of brought up schools, and he misread too. And he basically says, like, no, parents will have no say in what happens in the kids' schools. And like Youngkin, the Republican, I think instantly knew, like, that was huge. So he starts clapping right away. And then, like, instead of walking it back later, he keeps digging his feet in deeper and deeper and deeper. So this is the stuff that the Democrats are going to try to say, like, well, this is different because so Virginia doesn't represent the rest of the United States, but it obviously does. They're already looking at the New Jersey governor, which is New Jersey. Jesus, that should be safe below. They're looking at that one and saying this one might be closer than it should. And Trafalgar Group came out with a new poll saying that's only like a 4-point spread right now.
Yeah, well, it turns out that the American people don't like being tyrannized by COVID morons.
We don't want our kids to be told that they should feel guilty for their skin color.
Yeah, we don't like being taught racism and identity politics.
All
the reasons we went over on the last show, actually.
We don't want our kids being groomed.
Right. Taught all sorts of weird sexual shit at the same time.
But you know how,
idiots.
Like I said too, like how the mayor of New York, or the governor of New York, was kind of the sacrificial lamb, I think. I think now Terry's going to be the sacrificial lamb, because even the mainstream media is starting to go after him a little bit. And one of the things this is, like, the guy cannot quit talking about Trump. He absolutely cannot talk about Trump. And I think he don't know if he thinks it's going to rile up his voter base, but like even MSNBC is saying stuff like, Terry says that the race is not about Trump, while constantly bringing up Trump.
Yeah.
Like even the mainstream media is starting to notice that one a bit.
Let's play this.
Terry McAuliffe wants to make this about a man who's not on the ballot in Virginia.
Terry McAuliffe's campaign in Virginia is all about Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Trump, Donald Trump, Trump is Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, 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 Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Trump, Donald Trump, 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 Donald Trump, Trump. Donald Trump, 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 Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Trump, Donald Trump, 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 Donald Trump. He keeps invoking Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, 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 Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Trump, Donald Trump, 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 Donald Trump, 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 Donald Trump, Trump, Donald Trump.
Have you made this race too much about Trump?
No. Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Trump, Donald Trump, 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 Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Trump, Donald Trump, 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 Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, 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 Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Trump, Trumpkin. Do you know, Dan, this isn't about Trump?
This isn't about Trump.
That's a good commercial.
Wow, dude.
You know what other mistake he made? You know, Stacey Abrams is still saying that her election was stolen from her. Hey, in Georgia, they're still trying to say that. She's trying to say that it's election fraud.
Oh, I heard that. I heard that.
She still says it over and over. Well, one of the things that Terry keeps trying to say is they call it the big lie with Trump saying that he won the election. Well, he brought up Stacey Abrams. He basically said, he's like, yeah, they stole the election from me. Election fraud. You got robbed. And then right away, they're like, why would he do that? Why would he do that? It's kind of like he can't claim that and claim that it's a big lie with Trump.
Yeah, that's funny.
So he really does have just a lot of gaffes on this one.
Dude, I think you could do that little collage with like almost any Democrat. I was going to say Democrat politician, but actually I'll just go ahead and say any Democrat.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're obsessed with Trump.
Funny. And it's so funny too, because like you take like Reddit, for example. I'm just thinking that because like the most liberal place. But you'll see once in a while a thread like, well, Reddit, how do you think Biden's doing in his first 100 days as president?
Donald Trump.
And it's hilarious going like, you know what? I've gone back. I'm kind of burnt out. So guys, not following. But it's so nice to not wake up and wonder what their idiot president said again. It's like, oh, you fucking idiots.
Yeah,
you idiots. You're basically just putting your head in the sand now. You're admitting to being ignorant to all of this.
Right. I think that Trump derangement syndrome that people talk about, they call it Trump derangement syndrome. I think that's real. I think these people are literally like crazy.
Here's the good news: is it doesn't work on independents. The voters really do have a way of like, well, you're the president. Even when stuff Trump couldn't hurt, he lost because of COVID. They're like, well, he's the president. What do you want him to do different? He's like, well, something. He's the president.
He killed 300,000 people.
Yeah, I mean, Biden basically said, like, I carry around a list of every American death. And it was like, when it was like 300,000. And he's like, Trump is responsible for 300,000 deaths. Yeah. And now it's like 700. Is he taking
Did he kill 400,000? Yeah, exactly.
And he basically said, like, this guy doesn't have a plan. I have a plan. You wait and see. And then they elect him. And not only is it worse now, but we also have 75% of adults vaccinated, and there's more deaths and more cases. And so they keep trying to blame Trump. He even did the whole, like, of Afghanistan. He kind of says, well, the buck starts with me, but Trump. It's like, no, that's like the fake, all blames with me because I'm a big man, but here's what really caused it. It's like, no, that's a fake fucking thing to say. But so yeah, they all do that. But even McAuliffe, Terry, he just even like a day or two ago, their campaign emailed Blast Virginia, basically saying, "Look, he's bringing Trump in for a rally. Trump's coming in for the rally on the 1st." And Youngkin came out and said, "He's not. He's not coming."
Oh yeah, I remember
that. They're lying now about Trump coming there.
Right. And that probably boosted his ratings anyway. Their lie, it's just like when Obama came to campaign and Biden came to campaign for him, and it dropped him.
Did we ever play that video of what Biden said?
I don't think so.
The people were basically chanting, "We love Trump," but like Biden, Terry McAuliffe speech. But basically, he just kind of like almost like threatens them or like challenge them to a fight. It was really weird.
Here we go. This should do.
But I mean, Biden is wildly unpopular here, so I think this wasn't a good move to bring him.
Well, according to the polls, he's wildly unpopular everywhere in America, so it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It's great to be with you all. I really mean that. First of all, it goes without saying how much I appreciate your current governor, Ralph North. Where's Ralph? There you are, pal. Thank
His name's not Ralph North, in case you're wondering.
He got it wrong. Awesome.
Yeah. It's like Northam or something like that.
What are they saying right now?
That's all right. Let him go.
We love Trump.
Let him go. That's
Okay.
okay. That's
There,
all
now
right.
I get it.
Why don't you hang out and talk to me after this is over, okay? Well, thank you. Look.
Like, what's he mean by that?
Thank you.
I don't know. He's a dog-faced pony soldier anyway.
Did you hear he's supposed to be shit his pants in front of the Pope?
I did hear that.
If you Google
you think
it,
there's any truth to that?
If you Google it now, like Snopes even fact checks it false.
Well, then in that case, I 100% believe it.
Just
It must
the
be
fact
true
that they're
then.
acknowledging it.
Yeah. But I don't know. I have that video where he goes in that long speech about Satchel Paige to the Pope.
We can play it, and then we can play him sleeping at the G20 or whatever the hell it's called right afterwards.
Oh, I see. It was this TikTok link, and I think it's gone now.
Which one was that?
The one where he's talking about Satchel Paige.
Oh, yeah.
He goes into a long, just rambling story about Satchel Paige to the Pope, and the Pope has no idea what he's talking about.
It's got to have been... They've had to rehearse that, right? Like,
No, I don't think so. I actually think I've heard him tell that story to someone else at some point.
So
and I think it's just one of his go-to stories.
So I asked him, Mr. President, how's your hair fare in a blizzard? Is it one of those?
It's one of those.
Just his
yes.
go-to?
Yes. It's just one of his old guy go-to stories. And he just rambles. And he decided to tell the Pope because he's senile.
The Pope doesn't speak English.
Right, so it's completely lost, The Pope has probably never heard of Satchel Paige. You know what I mean? He probably doesn't follow 60-year-old baseball players or whatever.
He was probably already 80 by the time Satchel Paige was born.
Yeah. Okay, so here's Biden like today or yesterday at the extremely important climate change meeting.
I can't wait till this is fact checked.
Disabled and non-disabled all around the world, I call on you to commit to concrete actions to stop the destruction of this magnificent planet.
He can't help himself.
You have the chance to make decisions.
Oof, he almost went out. Oh, there he goes.
You are in a position of extraordinary power.
Oh, man, he's doing that sway thing you do. We fall asleep in class.
Oh, he's out,
dude. To make a world that is once again full of hope, not fear.
He's like breathing heavy too. Like,
yeah,
he's
nothing
really
like flying all these people in their personal jets to tell the peons how they should reduce carbon footprint.
He keeps telling the Amtrak story too, even though proven false.
God, that
Which
last
one is that?
Was weird. The last one was weird. He even put in his dead wife and talked about using Amtrak to get home and seeing him every day and shit afterwards. You type in Amtrak Biden, the story probably could. It's a weird one that he just keeps telling.
All right, let's see.
It's been proven false. I think he's doing it. This one was even weirder because it's like he forgets that which family members died and which ones didn't? Oh wow, they sent to wake him up, didn't they?
Wow. Okay.
They did.
Yep. And I wanted to show, right at the beginning of this video, he starts to I'll just take a quick nap here. And then he looks right at the camera, as if to kind of go is this camera watching me?
Have you been in a car where you're falling asleep and then you drift off and you're wide awake? Okay, I'm wide awake now.
Yeah.
And then you still drift off. That was him right there.
Yep, I think
you saw the camera and he had that little bit of adrenaline surge.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yep. And then for real, they do send this guy over, and right now he's saying, "Hey, you're falling asleep, you old moron. So I'm gonna pretend to show you this phone."
It's funny whenever he goes places like this, it's harder for them to control what happens when he's not hosting the White House. So they just send in. He's clapping. So they just send in the staffers to go, thank you, everybody.
Right, thank you, get out.
Yeah, how condescending is that?
Oh, I think it's terrible.
Thank you. All right, guys, thank you.
Yeah, dude, no one can deny that he's fallen asleep here. Do you remember the other times when he's falling asleep and there's been some question about it? He was legit falling asleep.
I'm sure that's going to be fact check. You know what? Go ahead. Google, did Biden fall asleep?
Okay, yeah. I bet you it is fact checked already.
I bet it's fact checked as missing context. Just do that. Yep.
After Biden appeared to nod off, accused of falling asleep.
Hey, there it is. Did U.S. Joe Biden? There it is. The
Republic World. This is gonna say probably did. I don't know what the hell website this is. But okay, here's what I'm going to guess. It's just too recent. It's only 9 hours ago.
They're still trying to bend over backwards.
We'll look this up. We'll look this up on our next show. Maybe we'll do a show tomorrow. Maybe we'll do one Thursday. But we'll look it up, and I bet it's fact checked.
The fan was on and it was blowing his eyelids shut.
Yeah.
He couldn't keep his eyelids open.
Right. Okay, what was the thing I was going to YouTube? Oh, yeah, Biden Amtrak.
Yeah, if you type that in, it probably should come up. Or even just Google it, but see what comes up. As in April. There was one really recent. And it is just so weird. He starts talking about his family and stuff. You just go to Google, see what comes up if you Google it.
Okay. Fact check. Biden keeps repeating a false story about an Amtrak. What is this? He's been telling this story since at least 2020.
Facts first. Biden was friends with the Amtrak conductor at the start of the story, Angela Negro. But Negro had been dead for more than a year. Had been retired for more than 2 decades before the earliest moment they could conceivably have had the supposed conversation Biden keeps describing. He did this like a week ago. A week ago.
And your employees can get the
CNN can't even bend over backwards for him.
Yeah, they're probably face palming like, we told you to stop telling this lie.
Well, they're friends, so we're going to call this one mostly false.
So what was the lie? That he traveled on Amtrak more than airplanes?
Yeah, basically.
And then
there's one
everyone tells him there's no
go
way.
To the go back. You'll be able to find it if you did search by date on YouTube. It would probably come up. But yeah, basically saying back after his wife died, how he would ride Amtrak all the time. And
okay, well, actually, I want to show the Pope. Baseball fills in. God, see, these are all news organizations fucking covering up for him here.
And YouTube is complicit in this. And they basically said, do Satchel Page.
Yeah.
But they basically said they're going to do it this way, too.
Yep. Here we go. See, we have to find some random channel with 400 views to get this kind of important little thing. Not important, but just interesting. This is what people want to see.
The famous African-American baseball player. His name was Satchel Paige. The commanding officer said, Satch,
No one's ever pitched to win at age 47.
You know what they're missing there? They're cutting out that they have to have someone translate it for them.
I think this chick's gonna start doing it.
Okay.
How do you feel about pitching to win on your birthday? He looked at me and said,
"Holy shit, they are! They're cutting her translating this.
Better for him.
Yeah, they are. This pisses me off.
Like two buddies laughing about a joke.
Although he's still not gonna understand.
Still, that's messed up that they would edit that.
I want to see, yeah, and I want to see the actual clip. I saw this when it first happened. Here you go. Joe Biden tells the Pope a tedious story about Satchel Paige.
Thank you.
Here we go. Okay, it's a minute long.
Thank you for that. He was a famous African-American baseball player in America. I know.
Afroamericano.
And he didn't get to play in the Major League Baseball until he was 45 years old because he was black.
Non gli hanno permesso di giocare nella Lega.
Joe, you probably voted against letting him play.
Didn't want to be a racial jungle for his kids.
And usually pitchers lose their arm when they're 35.
In genere loro non giocano a cominciare.
See, that's a dumb thing to say someone who doesn't speak English. You know,
and
usually pitchers lose their arm. You're like, that's a dumb fucking thing to make her translate, you know?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go on.
It's to win on his 47th birthday.
The Pope had to go through this, so we have to.
Yeah, no kidding.
His name was Satchel Paige.
Si chiamava Satchel Paige. Allora i giornalisti sono andati nello spogliatoio.
The commanding officer said, Satch, no one's ever pitched to win at age 47. How do you feel about pitching to win on your birthday?
Tutti hanno detto, nessuno c'è mai riuscito a fare questo a 47 anni. Come ti senti averlo fatto il giorno del tuo compleanno?
At this point, she's just saying, just smile and nod at the crazy old man.
Yeah. And he looked at me and said, boys, that's not how I look at age.
I'm sorry, what is it?
Boys, that's not how I look at it.
Dice, ragazzi, non si guarda all'età.
I look at it this way. How old would you be if you didn't know how old you were?
Quanto vecchio saresti se tu non sapessi
Joe
quanto
says
vecchio
300.
sei?
You're 65, I'm 60.
I don't fucking get it, Joe. I don't even understand what he was saying there.
And he's like he's only 70, so he's like shaving 5 years off his age.
Yeah.
God, if nobody told me my age was, I'd be 5 years younger.
Boy, the
Pope. That reminds me of a little bit. Do you remember when? God, who was it? It was like the Dalai Lama or something did a interview on like Good Morning America.
Yeah, it reminded me of that too, actually. I know it's
so
he tells him that joke.
Pizza.
Yeah.
And I said, I've won with everything. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I feel 3% younger than I am.
Where the hell did that come from in his mind? Yeah, no kidding. I guess, what age do you feel? The Pope had no idea what was going on.
I wonder if he was at least in his mind enough to go know, like, okay, I'm too far deep into this. I should abandon ship, but it's going to look worse if I do, so I'm just going to finish this out. Do you think that was ever entered into his mind?
No, I think he thought he was just telling his story. I don't think he fucking knew. I don't know what was going through Joe's mind there, but it wasn't much. God, how embarrassing, dude. The Pope.
And then he proceeded to walk around going, Jesus, someone farting here, to try to distract from the smell coming from him.
The Pope gives a sideways glance at one point during this. I want to show again.
Tutti hanno detto, nessuno c'è mai riuscito a fare questo a 47 anni.
That's not how I look at age.
I'm sorry, what is
Boy.
Here.
I look at it this way.
Right there. Like, he looks over like,
Is
this still going on? Is this story still going on?
Look at the cameras over here, please.
How old would you be?
He does.
He really
He
did.
looks away. He does the Anyway. All right, good job. Here's a leader of the free world, everybody, telling an old man Satchel Paige story to a guy who doesn't speak English.
They're going to pay, and we're going to see the start of it tomorrow. And, even if Young Kid loses, I got to point out that the damage is already done. He was supposed to get beat by 8 points. Even if he loses, it sucks for people like DZD stuck in Virginia and stuff.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, it might be better nationally if Youngkin loses.
Why?
If McAuliffe wins, we keep going with the problems that got us here. It's doubling down. We're going to see more CRT. We're going to see, this part's unfortunate, we're going to see more guys in dresses raping young ladies in bathrooms and be covered up. We're going to see way more COVID lockdowns there. We're going to see way worse Virginia economy there.
And you think that'll help the pendulum swing more?
Yes, because now when I'm starting to think Biden can't run in 3 years. I thought I was forever. They either have to have him get a heart attack or some other health thing not related to his mind, or they have to run him again. But he's going downhill so fast. What's he going to look like? It hasn't been a year. What's he going to look like in 4 years or 3 more years?
Dude, I get what you mean, but I think that that tomorrow being the beginning of the red wave and just him in the Republican winning, I think that might be better for the pendulum and for everything, where it's like, whoa, we can just fucking win everything right now.
It's a boost. It's
smash
for sure
the voting in
and
every
it's
election.
a big warning to them. Because one of the things they ask a lot of times in these polls is kind of your enthusiasm, the enthusiasm gap they'll talk about. And right now, there's a huge one where the people that are going for Terry kind of like hold my nose and go vote. Well, for Youngkin, people are like, I can't wait.
Yeah.
It would probably help that. It'd probably help the enthusiasm gap. But if it maybe even make it more so if shit's way worse there 3 years from now, 2 years from now.
Shit's already bad enough. Let's just make it better now. Okay?
No, yeah.
The left is destroying our country. I agree with you, Paulie. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And you know what? The left is going to tomorrow. If the governor of Virginia becomes a Republican, the left is going to go, holy shit, what's happening here? The people don't like being tyrannized by us. They don't like being talked down to by us.
That's what we got.
Yeah. The whole country must just be racist.
I think I said this last show, but they're trying to paint Youngkin as racist because he said something negative about George Soros. George Soros is an evil old man.
He's an evil old toad.
He happens to be Jewish. But if you say anything against George Soros, now you're anti-Semitic somehow.
Well, that's the left's go-to insult, and it's just the thing they do immediately. You disagree with me, you're racist.
But you'll see signs in Virginia, like, don't Texas my Virginia, vote Terry and keep Virginia blue. Like, that's a bad thing. Like, Texas is doing better than Virginia is.
Yeah. No, I think it's a big election tomorrow. I think it's the beginning of the red wave that's going to save our country from the leftist
why you have
tyranny.
Up? Do you remember when we brought up the Senate last time? Bring up the Senate. You just hit the search button, hit Senate, up at the top right.
Okay.
Go down, right there, left, up.
Who will control the Senate? Oh,
yes.
Look at this.
Click the 90-day one here. I mean, this was a clear Democrat favorite until recently.
Yeah.
This was always.
And look at this gap. Look how wide it's getting.
The experts said
Senate.
Republicans are going to win the House, but the Senate, because there's only like, out of the 100 seats, there's only like 17 or 18 up or something. There's not many. And most of them up are kind of in Democrat strongholds. So like, well, Republicans can't win the Senate. Well, now that Georgia is now lean red, they've said, all right, well, obviously that this is going to be really bad for the Democrats.
Okay, now I want to see the House. Oh, here's
so
House. Here's House and Senate.
House and Senate. This one, it used like some people in the blue said you need to go and buy Dem House and Dem Senate, and just look at that.
And this is Republican House and Republican Senate, and that top blue line is Republican. Look how much the American people are done with the left's bullshit, man.
And after tomorrow, it's gonna separate even more. If we want to do one more, if we could leave here, you could do like Democrat primary.
Can I search for that?
Yep, just put Democrat primary, see what comes up. And there it is. Go to the right there. So this has There's probably never been in modern history where the president wasn't 99 on here.
Yeah, no kidding. Biden's barely a favorite.
The Afghanistan withdrawal did really set this up, but
Dude,
it's not going away.
Look at this list of
we could probably make a lot of money here because you could cross Kamala Harris off that list. She will not be the nominee. I would take the field against her.
Yeah, we should go buy no, man. There's probably a lot of money in that.
Sure. That's the way to do it. You're right. Buy no on that.
God, let's buy yes on Hillary. They got nobody else. They're going to have to run Hillary again.
Do you know what's funny? I was talking to a liberal that's a really big liberal. And this is like 4 weeks ago before the Virginia race really took off. And I said to him, like, look, Democrats have no star power. They're screwed. Biden can't run. Everyone hates Kamala. They basically kicked out Gang. Bernie's 1,000,000 years old. Who could they possibly run? And he said, oh, there's this big up-and-coming guy they think. Terry McAuliffe from Virginia. That was kind of like the next in line guy.
And then they watched him dance.
Dude, they tried to blame that for a little bit, by the way. Like, not that it's.
I don't think it helped him.
He's a terrible person, yada, yada. He did the Howard Dean and he danced.
Yeah, that did hurt him, but not as much as who he is and the fact he's way on the left.
I think we got to buy no one.
Dude, I agree with Miggles here, though. I think she's right that it looks like around the time of Afghanistan withdrawal where this split started really happening in the votes.
That's when the veil was taken off a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah.
I think part of that was because
it woke people up to how much he sucks.
I think the liberal media is more beholden to the war machine and deep state than they are to the Democrat Party.
Right. So even they had to be like,
yeah, that was against the war machine and
then an ounce of criticism from the media and just a tiny amount of criticism on Biden from the media was enough to make all the people, even on the left, go like, wait a minute, is he not perfect? He actually sucks.
Yeah.
He's actually senile and doesn't know shit
at all.
Okay, man. Well, we covered the
should we talk about Elon's tweet here?
Yeah, let's talk about what's going on with Elon today tweeting.
Go all the way up on this one. This one's a funny one. So CNN runs an article. It's funny to me how everybody's wanting to spend everybody else's money. You'll see that a lot. Like, this is kind of off topic, but you'll see someone say like, gosh, guys, I went into Goodwill and I bought a book and in between the pages was a $500 bill. What do I do? And people were like, give 400 to charity and keep 100. Yes. Paula says, any thoughts on the Rittenhouse trial? I watched a lot of the videos and dude was attacked. I don't like that a 17-year-old kid from another state was walking around with AR-15s, but dude was attacked. That starts tomorrow, by the way. They had jury selection today.
Yeah, we've got a couple things about it.
Glad you brought that up.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's so obvious that he is very innocent, and he's kind of
absolutely.
He is kind of a sacrifice to the Antifa and BLM altar. They didn't want more cities. They didn't want more police stations firebombed and other terrorist acts. So they had to arrest him.
Yeah. Well, the thing, let me say, look, I think it was from all the videos I've seen. I've watched a bunch of the videos. Okay. Maybe there's some video out there I haven't seen that makes him look that somehow he's guilty in some way. But everything I've seen looks like self-defense, okay?
I have no problem with him being 17. I have no problem with him having an AR.
I don't either. I think there might be something about he took a gun across state lines and that's illegal. Okay, if that's illegal, then maybe he's guilty of that.
It's an imaginary line that he is 20 minutes from his house.
Yeah, okay.
If people are going to burning property, I would love if somebody would come and do the Asians on roof type of thing where they're protecting my property. I'd love it.
Sure. But
he wasn't the aggressor. It's within his rights. He wasn't the aggressor.
Right. The most important thing is that it looks like he was actually doing self-defense, and that's justified. He has a right to defend his life. Okay? And if the politics of this nation and the politics of leftist morons who want him in prison for life causes him to be found guilty, or even the fact that he's been arrested is probably shameful.
Yeah, it really is.
If he gets convicted because of the politics in this shitty nation, then we're all in big trouble.
Yeah, I would not have known to do that at 17. Yeah, I was way too dumb.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been doing that. His parents
But just
shouldn't
because
have
he
let him.
turned some pedophile's arm into spaghetti that had a gun, I don't know how I got that shot off. He shot the guy's like gun arm too, I think.
Yeah, the guy was trying to kill him.
Yeah, it was
with
obvious.
the pistol.
And
And the first guy
they're
was
trying to take an
chasing
illegal
him.
weapon away from him. That's none of their business.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing anything.
I like the judge too.
But how
from
about
the
that?
stuff I've seen.
Oh yeah, we got a play where the judge told him that they can't call the pedophiles victims. How about that though? He shoots 3 people, and like all of them were like felons, and like one of them was a pedophile, and the other one was like a wife beater.
Yeah.
Go figure. You pick 3 random Antifa, and they're pieces of shit.
Right.
That's crazy odds.
And the first guy he shoots is going, before the shooting, like an hour before it, is going, shoot me, motherfucker, shoot me, N-word, shoot me, N-word. He keeps saying that, and he's clearly aggressive and like crazy.
How about that? And a week or before or so,
I don't know if
there
it'll be
was
televised, but
an
I'd like to know.
Antifa that went and shot a Trump guy, a guy with the Trump flag. Basically, Antifa went and shot him and killed him. And you don't hear anything about it. You don't hear the liberal media going after that person, saying, why is this person still walking around? And maybe he's not. I don't know. But that's my point. Why do we all know who the Kenosha kid is?
Right.
We don't know about the guy that killed the Trump supporter in an anti-rally.
Dude, I think that the left's vilifying Kyle Rittenhouse.
It's got to be killed, I'm sure. But
I think that the fact that tons of people on the left would really, if I asked them, what do you think of Kyle Rittenhouse? They'd say he's a murderer. Or they should give him the chair.
Yeah,
I think that
mad.
those people are pieces of shit and have no integrity.
They're mad he's getting due process. His lawyer gets death threats and shit.
Doesn't surprise me at all, man.
I think how ridiculous
these
is
people
that?
are they and the worst part is they think they're like in the right, but they're fucking. The kid is clearly self-defense, but they still want him hung.
You know what's an interesting follow on Twitter is Barnes Law. He's an actual attorney that kind of goes after big government cases. I think he might have even, there was a big case that he was in. It might have been the school kids against CNN, maybe. I can't remember. But it'll be interesting to follow him during this. I'm sure he'll have a lot to say.
Okay.
So Barnes Law is that one if people want to follow.
This is what I was trying to find. Okay, so yeah, they just selected the jury apparently quickly. 11 women, 9 men, 1 person of color.
Go to YouTube and type in Kyle Rittenhouse judge. He got mad as victims. Kyle Rittenhouse judge victims. See if it comes up. There it is. This is a pretty good clip.
This one?
As long as it's not stupid ass
Fucking
CNN talking over it.
I'm nervous for Kyle Rittenhouse, and I'm nervous for the entire
I'm not
system if he gets
once
found
the whole
guilty.
Story's out. They're going to have trouble convicting him.
He better not be found guilty. No matter how stupid the left is, we shouldn't.
And a major development in the case of Kyle Rittenhouse. He is the 17-year-old, accused
Go
of
to the
shooting
left
3
there. It's right. You'll see when it goes to there.
Okay. All right, here we go.
I'd like to play this exchange between the judge and the prosecution. Take a listen to this.
The word victim is a loaded word. And I think alleged victim is a cousin to it.
I respectfully disagree, Your Honor. I think it's the exact same issue. The terms that I'm identifying here, such as rioters, looters, arsonists, are as loaded, if not more loaded, than the term victim, Your Honor.
So
cut him off there.
Play his answer there.
Have you seen it? I haven't seen it.
But basically, he says, no, there's a difference. And
Good.
They can't call the pedophiles and the felons victims.
Right, because they were rioting and they were looting. So they're rioters and looters. But they aren't necessarily victims. And in fact, they aren't victims. They're fucking perpetrators who were attacking a young man who defended his own life.
Who the cops at the scene let go and didn't arrest him.
I think it's an important trial.
Obvious. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. This guy is being sacrificed at the altar of wokeness.
Yeah, and he better not.
But it's going to be hard for them to convict him.
There's so much video evidence.
But the problem is, this guy's probably going to be like a Zimmerman for the rest of his life. Well, this is going to follow him around.
Yeah.
Or George Zimmer, whatever the hell his name was.
Yeah.
But this one's way better. It's not just some idiot running into Trayvon, whoever that one was, but
the prosecutor tried to compare this to a bar fight, and the judge was like, no, this isn't. Yeah, I'm sure he tried to make it look like, well, both sides were.
Two idiots ran into each other, and
yeah.
there has to be consequences.
Right.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yep. Fucking scumbags, man. Okay, so, but you know what? I think that, look, I have all of the Kyle Rittenhouse videos on my computer, and in an upcoming show, we'll do like a Rittenhouse.
Following this one like a hawk.
Yeah. So we'll show the videos and we'll talk about them.
Yeah, we're gonna be following that like a hawk, but
he better not be found guilty, or I'm gonna be pissed.
Oh.
Okay, let's go back to Elon.
Yeah, let's go to Elon. This is kind of a funny one. There's not much to it, but like I was kind of getting like you'll see posts people say, "Hey, I found $500. What I do to it?" They say, "Oh, give half of it to charity, then go and buy some." Thanks for the terrible advice. But anyway, CNN tries to do this. They try to say 2% of Elon Musk's wealth could solve world hunger, says director of UN Food Scarcity Organization, which is the WFA.
Okay.
And it's fact checked by this guy. He said 2% of Elon's wealth is $6 billion, which for people that don't know, Elon doesn't have $6 billion in his bank account. He would have to. No, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, not at all, man. We wanted to talk about that.
We're excited
anyway.
for it too.
Yeah.
We're an audience participation show anyway. We like it that way. But Elon he would have to sell his business basically to do this, which, I mean, we could argue that he should if it was really going to help, but he gets into it here.
You know
too.
what? To solve world hunger, probably should. Like that's a big enough one.
Here's the
but
problem.
also, it's up to him. It's his.
You're also not going to solve world hunger.
No, of course.
In 2020, the UN World Food Program raised $8.4 billion, so more than 2% of Elon's wealth.
Yeah.
And of course, world hunger is worse now.
How come it didn't solve world hunger?
It's worse now than it was in 2020.
In fact, that was their whole job, was to solve world hunger, and they miserably failed. Okay.
So go to, but and so then Elon does say, if WFP can describe on this Twitter thread exactly how $6 billion will solve world hunger, I will sell Tesla stock right now and do it. But
I actually love that he said that.
Yeah, but this is the best part. But, and this should be for any nonprofit, this should almost be a rule. But it must be open source accounting, so the public sees precisely how the money is spent. Because a lot of these do. A lot of times they just take giant salaries and do giant trips and do everything else.
Right.
And none of it goes anywhere. A lot of times they put it towards advertising. Like you give money to them, $1,000, they turn around and spend $1,000 on radio ads to try to convince other people to give them money.
Right. The federal government spends over $6 billion just for the WIC program, and that obviously doesn't solve world or even our countries. Even more spent on SNAP.
Bill. That's like trillions.
Right.
Or any of the bailouts. So $6 billion is a small percentage of that. Just use the Build Back Better.
Who said that in the first place? Oh, CNN, of course.
So then go down, like the head of this WFO actually responds. This is David Beasley. Headline not accurate. $6 billion will not solve world hunger, but it will prevent geopolitical instability, mass migration, and save 42 million people on the brink of starvation. Obviously, it wouldn't. But anyway, an unprecedented crisis and a perfect storm due to COVID, conflict, climate crisis. Climate crisis. I love how they throw that in there. With your help, we could bring hope, build stability, and change the future. Let's talk. It isn't as complicated as Falcon Heavy, but too much at stake to not at least have a conversation. I could be on the next flight to you. And go down a little bit. Elon says, where is it? You might be on the wrong one. We might have found where he actually responded to this.
Let me see. Is it this one?
Yeah. He says, what happened here?
Okay. And he links this.
David Beasley. He's the WFP chief. This is the head of this.
Okay.
Look at this headline. Starving children as young as 9 forced to give UN officials oral sex to give food.
Jesus Christ, dude. What the
So
fuck?
the whistleblower that came out and said this got fired instantly, basically suspended without pay. Nobody else got punished.
Right, so the only person who had faced any consequence
is
was a whistleblower.
So good for Elon to say, what's happening here then? And why aren't your books
Traded
public?
oral sex for food from UN peacekeepers.
And by the way, is there anything more evil?
While officials look the other way. No, that's probably the most evil it gets.
These poor kids are already dying of hunger, and they're taking advantage of the most insecure people.
Yeah, so he's like, okay, I'll give you the $6 billion, but you can't use it to rape kids like you usually do.
And the WFP says, no, not happening.
No one has been arrested for more than a year and a half. Ugh, well,
and the whistleblower was fired.
Well, this was disturbing twist on this story.
How about Elon calling him out for that, though?
That's awesome.
Ignored it completely.
Yeah.
And then Elon basically goes back and saying how all of these organizations should be open accounting type of thing.
Wow, that's a funny exchange, though.
Yeah.
But you know what? I want to highlight this. Save 42 million people on the brink of starvation because of an unprecedented crisis, because of COVID and climate.
So how many people have died from COVID, do you think?
How many is it?
Let's use their numbers. How many?
Yeah, I don't know. I actually
guarantee
it's 700,000 here or whatever.
People.
No, it's not 42 million
due to COVID.
That's what I was going to bring up.
And I would rather have the at-risk population die of COVID rather than have 1 to 20. I'd rather have 1 at-risk person die of COVID than 20 kids starve to death. How about that?
Yeah, but it's probably way more than 20. It's probably, fucking...
Even if it's 1 to 1.
500,000 or something.
Even if
this
it's
is 42 million people are going to starve because they shut down all these countries because of COVID. So we're going to have 42 million people
not like
starve.
They snuck up on people like, oh, Jesus, we didn't think of that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Instantly, when they did the 2 weeks of flatten the curve, people were like, this is going to cause starvation.
Yeah.
This is going to cause starvation and suicides. And then it's sort of like, no, because COVID measures are only good and never destructive. It's going to give people more family time. Yeah. It's going to have people driving less and less focus on work. Can you imagine? Well, now we have kids born with 23 points less IQ, and 42 million people are going to starve to death, according to the to the World Health Organization here. Not the World Health Organization, the WFP.
This is the biggest example of the consequences of the only deaths that matter are COVID deaths. Yes. Look at this.
Yes. And nobody's talking about it.
No one's talking about it at all because
nobody's talking about this.
Yeah. It's fucking disturbing.
Yeah. It's weird that we're basically sacrificing kids to make the elderly feel a little more false sense of security.
Right. Yeah. For no reason. It's really gross.
Oh.
Okay, well, that was a fun Elon Musk thread that happened today, right?
It's going to be interesting to see what happens if they would pass the Build Back Better because they have the unrealized capital gains in there. And Elon, you look at the stock price, he's now the richest person in the world. He's going to owe 25% of his wealth in taxes that year. And he doesn't have that. And so he either has to take out a loan with interest or sell that much of his company.
Right. I'm sorry, but COVID is bullshit. It's the flu. Less worse. It's political. Yeah, I know. Even by their own shit, we've said many times the flu is worse for kids than COVID.
I've done this numerous times, but I had it when I was really young. There was an elderly neighbor that I really liked because she had like a dog I liked to go over and play with stuff. Her name was Betty. It was great. I thought she died a decade or two ago. And I saw this news article from my hometown, and it was saying like, Cumming County records its first COVID death. I looked, and it was her. and she was like 98 with cancer.
Right.
And I thought she died a decade ago, and she died with COVID. And she basically died from a fall. And she just also happened to be tested and had COVID. And they made a big deal about how it was the first death in Cumming County.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I mean, I still just think it's a big globalist push to bring in tyranny and do these fucking weird vaccines, man. But we've talked about that many times.
Yeah. I think it's released from a lab, and they had to rush it because China looks so terrible.
Yeah, I do too. Well, here's one little thing I wanted to show. You sent me this, Garrett. This was what a fun leftist did for Halloween. Some kids have been getting upset about this, but frankly, I'm beyond caring. There's a pandemic going on, and you're spreading it. Go home. So when kids came to this person's house for trick-or-treating, they found a note that said, "Go home. It isn't safe to trick-or-treat during COVID," and masks.
What's he trying to do? Is he trying to spread
candy?
Is he trying to spread COVID? He's like, hey, go get COVID all these masks and throw them so they get in the landfill. And
yeah.
Or like Fauci said, go wear this so you're touching your face more and you're more likely to get COVID for wearing it. Oh, God, this one's going to make me mad.
Have you seen this?
No, but I read the title
bad,
already.
Dude. Yeah, let's read the title. Child admits that her mom will not let her out of the house until she gets vaccinated. This is so sad. So let's watch this one. This is part of the left is insane ongoing theme of our show here.
This is my daughter.
Hi.
She's 9.
Poor girl.
I know.
We're about to blind react to something.
Okay.
What does that say? Hold on, dear.
Hold on, bro. Pause it real quick. So she's live somewhere here. If you're live blind reacting to your 9-year-old kid, 7, whatever it is, no matter what that is, you're already on the scale, probably of a bad parent.
Oh,
Unless
I
it's
agree.
like a private chat to your close friends or family.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it for the world,
yeah, you're on
already
Facebook
on
Live.
that
Like,
scale.
yeah, it's already exploitative or whatever the fuck.
You're not going to get a real reaction here. It's gonna
Right.
be
The kid
measured
knows
out.
she's on the spot, you know.
Yeah.
What does it say?
That the COVID vaccine for kids is next week should be clear for kids till 5 to 11.
What does that mean for you?
I can go with my friends.
Yeah.
I can finally, go outside, go to stores. I'm excited.
I'm excited for her.
I thought it was going to be like in a couple months. No, apparently it's next week.
Well, wait, I hope you don't have any serious side effects.
Yeah, I do too. I hope she's okay after getting it. But I think she hasn't left the house in probably a year.
I think we forget how much some states are still locked down.
Yeah. And look,
we haven't
we've
changed our lifestyle at all.
And you and I have never really known how crazy some people are about this.
Yeah.
You know. So this girl has been locked up for over a year and a half, probably, Miggles. I bet she hasn't left the house, dude. She hasn't seen her friends in a year, and she's only been alive for 9 years.
I keep going back to Reddit. There's uplifting news or whatever, and they're like, "Watch, I bring my infant to the grocery store for the first time ever," and the kid's smiling because it's seen other people. I'm thinking, this is just a hell. You gave your kid a huge burden to carry for the rest of its life. It's probably not going to catch up. Then the kid's probably losing the 27 IQ. We talked about how they're saying now kids born in the pandemic are 27 points less IQ.
Yeah.
You have to average out there. The people like us that haven't changed our lifestyles at all. Our kids probably are the exact same.
Yeah, no
so
kidding.
The kids that are stuck at
way
home,
smarter,
locked up until they can start giving it to newborns, they're probably closer to 60 points.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel bad for the kids too.
I do too. It's horrible.
Not that kid's fault. The kid has no chance in life. That kid's gonna be 260 pounds with purple hair, with it cut to here, and she's going to be asking to speak to the manager, and also coming out as demon kind they is the pronouns in 5 years.
Yeah. But I actually made the point several times that like I think it would suck to be like in college during this COVID. This was especially a year ago when it was really the heat of it. And I think it would suck to be like 18. But I think it would really suck to be it sucks even to be in your 30s.
Yeah.
But I think it would really suck to be like 10 and you don't get to see your friends and you have to wear a fucking mask at school all day, which is torture. And you're scared. You think there's this killer virus, even though it doesn't hurt you at all. Yeah, no sports,
social,
no activities.
Are wiped.
You're told that maybe you're going to kill grandma.
God, you see the CDC? They did the Freedom of Information Act, and it sounds like the teachers' unions were writing to the CDC, basically strong-arming them to recommend school not be in person.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
That's just coming out.
They don't want to go
too.
to work. That doesn't surprise me at all.
And I know we're in a time crunch because we're getting an hour. Go to Thomas Massey's Twitter really quick. Did you see this?
You know what? Right before I go, you watch this little girl blink kind of strangely here.
Yeah, she's a tick.
Yeah, she probably has a tick from never leaving her house. That's what I was going to say.
You know what they're blaming it on now? TikTok.
What?
They're saying kids, the ticks that kids are getting are from TikTok. They're claiming.
This is my.
Is that a joke?
So type in teens and tick. Nothing else. Google it. See what comes up. Teens tick. Yep.
Ticks for teens.
Go to, there it is.
Teen girls are developing
ticks. I just say TikTok.
Oh, does TikTok cause physical ticks?
No, of course not. But they can't take a blame. Because to the COVID cultists, there is no negative side effects of the lockdowns. Not a single one. If there is, it's because you won't get vaccinated, not because of their draconian lockdowns.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised it doesn't say, is TikTok causing teenage suicides to skyrocket? It can't be fucking lockdowns.
Strokes? Young, healthy kids?
Yeah.
They're already trying to normalize heart attacks.
Yeah, I actually have a post that said something like this one. For your information, strokes in children are not common or normal, just so we're clear ahead of time.
Oh, jeez.
So I think this guy might be calling it.
Yes, probably we do. Was our last show we kind of talked about? It's kind of funny.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I think there's big hope.
We started the show like right before the elections, and we made the point over and over and over, this is probably not a great election for the Democrats to win. I think we're going to see the pendulum swing back hard to the right. Like people talk about like the right, people are like saying like, God, we just need to secede. We need to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
But there's kind of no point. The Republicans are going to have.
Right, we're going to sweep the country anyway.
Yeah, we're not talking about. We're not big. We're more libertarian slanted, but the Republicans at least at this point are giving people the freedom.
Yeah. We're against the COVID tyranny and the COVID lockdowns. Yeah. And the red states are pretty good about it. We're pretty much open here. Nebraska, we're good.
So like it's going to start tomorrow with Youngkin. Even if he loses, the fact that it's close is bad. Biden's not going to win again. I would put a lot of money on that.
Yep.
So I think there is hope. I know it feels like Jesus Christ. They got the House, they got the Senate, they have the media for sure.
Yeah, here come vaccine mandates for all these private businesses and shit. All that's going to be gone.
But the good news about the media one is CNN last month didn't have a single show get over 1 million viewers. Not a single show. Well, at the same time, Joe Rogan gets over 1 billion views a month. He gets less than 1 million.
Yeah. Red wave.
You could look and say, God, they got social media, they got Twitter. They got the fact checkers. They got Facebook. Facebook's dying. They're trying to change the meta.
Yeah.
TikTok's stealing a lot of their traffic. It's kind of a boomer place to go now.
Dude, you're right.
Yeah. And like the fact checkers is almost turning into a joke.
Yep.
We say it all the time, like, geez, if Snopes says that, we know it's the opposite of what they say. I don't think we're alone with that one. So I think the pendulum's swinging.
I do too.
I think Virginia is a good way to look at it. Virginia looks like it's a CRT thing. It's a
COVID thing.
Make believe fucking that seriously, a trans boy, I guess a boy wearing a dress, let's put it that way, followed two different girls in the bathroom and raped them. And he got covered up because of the boy in a dress.
Right. Yeah.
And I think people.
But all of these things are resulting in a big red wave. And the big point
tomorrow.
And I think the fact that CNN has lost 70% of its viewers, and they're not the only channel. And like you said, Facebook's losing a lot of its power. I think all of the left's power is waning in big, important ways. I think that the right is going to win the House. We're going to win the Senate. We're going to win the presidency. All this shit's going to get thrown out.
You know that meme with
it's going to be good. I look forward to the future.
The principal of The Simpsons saying, "Is it me that's out of touch? No, it's everybody else. It's what the Democrats are going to be like that. No, it's everyone else is racist. It's just racism.
That's what's doing this. They've painted themselves into a corner, and they're trapped there, and they're losing all their support because most people are good, and most people aren't insane, and the left is so crazy that people can't stand with them anymore.
Tomorrow, they're going to blame Manchin and Sinema for Virginia because they didn't get a Build Back Better bill signed. Nobody gives a shit if it's passed. In fact, Virginians probably would be against most of the stuff into there. So they're kind of acting like, no, they're just mad that the Build Back Better bill isn't passed. No, they're not. They're happy. It's a piece of shit bill. Nobody wants it passed.
Yeah.
Hit refresh on this just to see if it's changing.
It is, dude. It's already going up more, I think.
Wow,
I mean, the graph looks more anyway.
Yeah, 46 cents now.
I'll switch to 90-day.
Look at that.
Well, I really hope the Republican wins tomorrow. Even if he doesn't, it's already just a huge swing. Cool.
You might want to subscribe to on Twitter if you have, on Twitch if you have it, just because this is our backup YouTube channel. This is our third.
Yeah, they keep banning us on YouTube, so this is our third channel.
One that has like a couple hundred followers something on YouTube, but we keep getting banned for medical misinformation. So Twitch is probably the safer one, really.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, man.
We
Thanks
enjoyed having you.
Yeah.
Nichols, it's nice seeing you again.
Yeah, of course. Always
DCD, Box, Kenobi, everyone's going to be watching this on the replay. It's going to be a fun day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like our third or fourth already.
Yeah, they keep banning us on YouTube.
We had a burner app on our phone to keep giving us phone numbers because YouTube needs a new phone number. So we had to keep getting fake ones.
Yeah, so if you go to Twitch and search for the Nate and Garrett Show, you should be able to find us there.
Yeah.
That's probably your best bet.
But we enjoyed having you. It was a lot of fun.
Yep. I think
our old show, a lot of our old shows are on Twitch, and we a lot of the stuff that you brought up, we've talked about, and it's been pretty fun.
I'm trying to.
Oh, do you have Thomas Massey? Really?
Oh,
quick?
yeah, that's what I was gonna search for. Okay.
And we can make this one super quick because we're already over. But the CDC, it's IE. This is one of the only good representatives that we have. But this guy is highly educated from like MIT and stuff.
I agree with his pinned tweet here, man.
Yeah, but go down. It's even funnier. He's got one basically saying like, it says like, what does the... I'm surprised it's not pinned. We'll go for a little bit more. Stop right there. Go up.
The video?
No, there's go down a little bit. I don't have to make the CDC look dumb or digital. The CDC director is getting their own. That's not the one anyway. But anyway, they came up with the conclusion that you'll see that Rachel Walensky try to do it. It's basically saying people that are vaccinated have 5 times less hospitalizations than people that have COVID. There it is. That's the thread. What do Roadkill and the CDC-sponsored COVID paper have in common? By the third day, they're so picked apart, they're unrecognizable. The CDC director is shameless for fabricating junk science. Basically, they're trying to say, if you have the vaccination, you're 5 times less likely to be hospitalized than if you have natural immunity. And it's obvious why they're doing this, because people are saying, you doing vaccine mandates, But natural immunity is stronger.
Natural immunity
Why
is way
that?
better.
So they have this really weird, we should link this maybe to our show notes or something, but they have this really weird study, I didn't like calling it a study, where they tried to prove this, and they did it in the most random way. They go to a hospital with people that have COVID-like symptoms, doesn't matter if they tested positive or negative, and it's only within like 48 hours, and they have these weird criteria, and they cherry pick enough to make it look like the vaccine is better than natural immunity. But if you read the study, it's obvious that it's the exact
Clear
opposite.
fraud, right?
Yes,
yeah. And then they wonder why people distrust
they're losing all
them.
credibility. And then Rachel Walensky, who's like the is it the CDC or she the
fuck Joe Biden. Yeah.
She basically then retweets this and says, people ask me about natural immunity. It's not enough. COVID vaccines are even better.
Natural immunity is so much better.
Since everything went down, I became a big Ben Shapiro fan. Yeah, we like a lot of his posts. Nate used to think that he'd be a great president.
I like the idea of a younger president, and I said maybe Ben Shapiro.
He makes some good arguments. I'm not in love with his foreign policy as much.
There's some things he said I didn't like, but in general, I like Ben Shapiro.
Especially when it comes to COVID and this tyranny. Yeah, I'd say I'm a pretty big fan of him.
What's up, Bill Romanowski? Thanks for stopping by, man. We're almost wrapping up right now. We usually try to go about an hour. Well, Garrett?
Should we call it? You have anything to play us out on?
I wanted to show this picture first, okay? This is just to close out the show here. Sometime back in the early 50s, before processed food and extra sugar started being added to everything. Look at this picture from a beach, okay? Look how healthy everybody is.
Yeah.
It's fucking unreal what's happened to our country in that aspect, too. It's really shameful. But everybody here's got abs, you know?
And if everyone had that diet, we wouldn't be talking about COVID right now, probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got to talk to really quick before we go. I'm sure everyone's heard on the news over and over about how a Southwest Airlines pilot said, "Let's go, Brandon," over the speaker. And there happened to be a liberal who's also a reporter. She tried to force her way into the cabin. Everyone knows
into the cockpit.
No, since 9/11 and stuff.
Right.
And she felt entitled to. But it turns out that was a flight from Atlanta to Houston, and it was a pilot from Atlanta, and he said, "Let's go Braves." It looks like that's actually what that was about. But the media didn't bother to ask questions, took this crazy lady's account as fact, and now they're looking at firing this guy and all sorts of stuff.
Well, he better not get fired if, you know.
Yeah.
Just because some crazy lady wanted to have him fired.
Yeah, but we're probably out of time, so we probably got.
Yeah, let's call it, man. Well, this was a fun show.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out and chatting.
Yep, that was fun. On the YouTube side, we'd appreciate it if you guys follow us on Twitch, just because it's our third-ish, fourth-ish YouTube channel.
Yeah, we're going to get banned over there.
We'll see everybody Thursday. Hopefully by then, we have a Republican governor of Virginia.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yep.
All right.
And we'll see everyone Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday at 10. Peace.
Yeah, had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stopping. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens.